Hey, welcome to episode 14 on Al's Canoe Kalamazoo. Today we're going to build and attach the Inwales and the decks. We have a lot ready to go for the outwales too, but the video was getting a little bit long, so we're going to stop short of that today. Al's design calls for gunnels that are 1 inch tall and 3/4 inches wide. So we're just cutting and thickness planing some half-length boards to be scarfed together. Hey, so right now I'm working on my scarf cuts for the gunnels. I put together this very simple jig, just a piece of plywood with a 2x4 screwed into it, actually from the bottom side. But I just marked a line at a 1:7 ratio, and doesn't really matter exactly what it is, but once you have this set, you run every board through at the same angle, you're going to get the same cut and they're going to scarf together parallel. Alright, we got them bundled up until the weather turns warm enough for some epoxy work. Alright, we got most of the channel cut for the scupper. I'm just going to switch over to a radius and cut out the rest. Alright, so on my scupper jig, I've got one board that's set up a little more square to the track than the other one, so I'm just going to use that for both sides of it. So I just drew a line on here, which is basically the outside of my router bit and where that lines up. So just line that up with my target there. And I'll go through, cut this out, smooth it over, and we'll just hit all 18 spots. I'll have to readjust the jig for each one. Alright, so still a big step there, so we need to just turn that down, dig a little deeper. Okay, nice and smooth. Right now I'm doing a dry fit to my inner stems or the ends of the Inwales. So I'm just kind of fitting them in place, looking what kind of adjustments I need to make, and then marking that off with a pencil, and then I'm going in with my sander and just taking it down to that pencil line. Alright, so for my dry fit I have a line marked in pencil right at the top of the hull. Line that up, clamp it down towards the end, check the fit, and then make small adjustments as needed. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with this end, with everything clamped up from about the center point all the way here close to the end. You can see I'm following the curve of the fillet on my inner stem, and it's very dark, but you can kind of tell there's a little bit of a gap between the inwale and the stem, and there's a little bit of space for it to come up. Sorry, this focus is tough. A little bit of space for it to come up to be more in line with the top of the hull. So this board here, I have a little bit off of the very tip because I want to be able to see in there, so I don't want this to get in the way. But when I actually glue this up, this will slide all the way up to here, and it'll pull that the rest of the way up into position. So I think we're pretty good here. I'm gonna go down and double check the other end, and we may be done tuning this one. On one side of the deck, we round over the handle and the curved edge, and apply a few coats of varnish. That'll go upside down when we attach it to the boat, so it's easier to do this finishing work first. Then the opposite side will be done when everything is glued in place. So I couldn't help myself, I was on a roll getting these decks shaved down to the right shape, mostly with a spoke shave and an orbital sander. So I didn't get any good footage of it because I just wanted to get it done. But you can see what we ended up with here. We're following a little bit of a curve on these, and you'll see it line up just right with these inner stems, and we'll get it glued into the front. I also have some clamps set up for my kind of clamping system for gluing the deck into the inwales. It's a little bit wild. I'll try to get another view of it, but we've basically clamped a piece of wood on top, and that's going to ride along the top here and provide some kind of wedging support so that stays glued in. And this long clamp actually is just connected to this top board. It doesn't clamp this piece onto the rest of the boat. It's actually just a counterweight, because once this is in place, this front edge is pretty easy to sink down because of the taper on these edges. And instead of finding a way to prop it up from underneath to apply force, I just put this clamp on as a really heavy counterweight that's gonna just kind of pull it up into position. So I'll get some footage of that and you'll see it being glued in. The way this works is because there's this tumble home here, this edge is a little higher than where the deck actually meets the inwale. So I have this board here at that level, but then I also put a couple cedar strips underneath of it. It gives just the right amount of gap so that the deck lines up with the inwale. One other point about this, when I was tuning these edges where the deck meets the inwale, I also just put my fort in roughly where it goes and use the ratchet strap to tighten the boat up to the correct width. So these angles shouldn't need to change, shouldn't be under any extra strain when the actual width is locked in with the thwart.
Born in 1857, William Howard Taft became Commander-in-Chief in 1909. His goal as president was to promote world peace, and his father's name was Alphonso Taft. He became Chief Justice in 1921